God, why do I feel like this is going to be my most controversial video ever? Okay, let's just get into it, because today I am talking about a character that I don't think has been discussed enough, but also in particular to what they did in the comics and whether or not it was the right decision. So today I'm talking about Ursa, Zuko and Azula's mother, and in particular the question of whether or not she is a bad mother. Oh God, okay, so from the series we always had this question as to what happened to her, why she left, where she went, all these sort of things, which are answered in The Search. And if you want to hear my detailed thoughts on The Search comics, go to Legend of Portalcast on all podcast platforms for the joint episodes that I did with The Search based on all 3 parts of the graphic novel series with Colin, the host of the show. It was a lot of fun, and I do talk about this a bit more in there because a video can only be so long before people get bored. So yes, that is the place, and I will link it down in the description. But what we learn in The Search is very interesting and also kind of ties in a little bit more into my idea of Ursa as a mother, as well as some things that we get in the show, but particularly from the comics. So in The Search that we learn that she was forced to marry Ozai and leave the man that she truly loved behind in her hometown, and then have to abandon and basically forget and could never be in contact with anyone from her hometown, including her parents. We then learn that after having children with Ozai, and when Ozai then kind of messed up and told Azulon that he should take Iroh's place as the crown prince, Zuko was going to be killed by Ozai. So Ursa then, said, look, I'll have Azulon killed as long as you don't kill Zuko. And that's kind of basically, and then she runs off and disappears. But the thing that always brought into question for me whether or not she was a good mother was what she does when she has left. She goes back to her hometown and she changes her face. She meets the Mother of Faces. Her true love has changed his face, so she changes hers. But the thing that always got me, which brought this question in, is that she also has her memories wiped of her children, because it would be too painful to remember them and not be able to see them. So she forgets their existence entirely. And that's just something that I never fully understood. If you change your face, you can still go back to the Fire Nation and check to see how they're doing. You can still find out how they're doing. No one will know who you are because you have a new face. So it never made sense to me. Like, why forget the memories of your children? If you truly loved them and cared about them, why willingly give up your memories of them? That means you can never know if they're okay. Which means, and this is something that I came to learn basically, is she would never have found out what happened to Zuko, which was the break of Ozai's promise. He promised to never harm the children, from what I can remember. Maybe I'm wrong. And maybe if she'd heard, she would have gone to find Zuko in his banishment to care for him. And he wouldn't have been caught up in these 3 years of angst and anger. Imagine if she had found him and cared for him. Maybe he would have gotten better sooner. Who knows? But it's just something that always came into my mind. And also, not to add in the fact that she was a terrible mother in general to Azula, because she doesn't care about her. She does, honestly, just exactly what Azula thought. She thinks of her as a monster. She scolds Azula and only scolds Azula and only praises Zuko. That is going to do things to a child. She's doing things to get her attention, like she burns flowers. Zuko tattletales on her, but she burnt those flowers because she was left in the background. She was being left out by her mother and her brother, so she wanted attention, but she's then punished for it. She never received any form of care from her mother, which means that she then seeks out care and, validation from her monster of a father. So those things that are there, just to me, she doesn't seem like a good mother. She doesn't care about one of her children, so she basically leaves them to the abusive monster of a father, and then gets annoyed when she does turn out to be, a problem. And I'm like, oh, no wonder. You basically emotionally abandoned her as a child. So she sought validation from a monster. What did you expect? And then she continues to belittle her. And then in the case of Zuko, if she really did love him, why does she have her memories erased? She could have gone to support him after he was banished, because most people would have known about his banishment. So she would have found out about it eventually too. But no, she wipes her memories to be with her true love, and then they have their own child together. But I guess I am being a little bit too hard on her. She was essentially in an abusive relationship. And not even essentially, she was in an abusive relationship. She was forced into marriage. Her post and everything about her life was monitored. She had to forget and lose everything from her past because Ozai wanted her to. She had no existence out of being his wife. She was nothing. She was nobody but Ozai's wife. So I guess I can't really blame her for her wanting to move on from all of that. But the only question I've always had is, why didn't she ever try to get her children back? Or at least let them know? I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's possible that Ursa really just made a mistake and isn't really a bad mother? Or do you think all of her decisions that she did, such as, not really caring for Azula and then wiping her memory of her children away, does make her a bit of a bad mother? Not as bad as Ozai, he takes the trophy for it, but not as good of a mother as she seemed to be built up by Zuko in his memory. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Oh god, I feel like people are not going to like me for this video, but let's hope it goes okay with everyone. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I truly do appreciate it. In the description box down below, you'll find the links to all of my social media, my merchandise store, and my Patreon, where, if you want to support me, probably not based on this video, that is the place to do so. Can't support me on Patreon? Be sure to hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and if you liked this video or didn't like it, hit the like or thumbs down button and share it with your friends. And hopefully this isn't the one that helps me lose my fan base. So oh gosh. Right, anyway, again, thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time.